a jet ski croc spotting tour at 1:30. So if anyone wants to come spot some crocs on a jet ski, come along. If anyone wants one of my books, they're here. That's my book. Stop listening to the customer. Try hearing your brand instead. I'll just put those there, and we can start. So, consumer confidence is at an all-time low. I don't quite know how to read this chart, but I think anything below 100 means consumer confidence is bad, and the economy is struggling. Then why was I offered a $400 Manhattan at the Ritz cocktail bar? So that's the first page of the cocktail menu. That was a couple of months ago. $300, $400, $400. I ended up buying myself a $50 old fashioned on the next page. It's still the most I've ever paid for a cocktail. But fuck, it's expensive, right? Then I'm going to Vegas in a few months. Any guesses how much my business class? 23 grand. Business class to Vegas. Fuck, thank God I'm not paying. And then I got a massage at a place I can't even pronounce because I'm just bullshitting here. I didn't really pay 23 grand, but I did type into Qantas yesterday how much it was, and that was 23 grand. $1,000 here for a massage at 383 Oxford Street. That, I don't know, has anyone been there? You have? Yeah, great. Okay, so that's crazy, right? So if the economy is so shit and everything's so bad, why are so many businesses so profitable at the moment? I find it fascinating, right? Our business is doing quite well. A lot of my clients' businesses are doing quite well, and everything I read about in the papers is doom and gloom, and I reckon it's really interesting. So maybe through the sheer joy of ignorance, I can talk about that, and you guys can all say I'm a rich fucker who's out of touch, or you can say maybe he's onto something. So I think so many brands are really profitable at the moment, especially within your industry. First of all, because of what's irrefutably a K-shaped recovery from COVID. So I think basically some parts of the economy are going nuts, other parts of the economy are going badly, and another way of saying that is the rich are getting richer and the poor are continuing to struggle. So that seems to be happening, but you know, in media at the moment, if it bleeds, it leads. There's no real joy about talking about the pockets of the economy that are doing really well, but you're going to get plenty of eyeballs if you reflect back to mainstream Australia, how much you're struggling and so on. So that kind of is masking the upward bit of the economy story. However, there's also two strong consumer trends that I think are driving the macro economy. Life's important. Make the most of it. That's kind of what happened out of COVID, right? It's kind of COVID would kind of lock down, especially in Victoria where I'm from, for a couple of years. Kind of made us think about our family and friends and our loved ones, and we thought, shit, we've got to make the most of life. Second thing, because we are in a K-shaped economy and there is a lot of hard luck stories out there, people are doing it tough, and I don't want to look like a dick, all right? So I don't want to flash my wealth around too much. I want to maintain a sense of austerity, get on stage with the fruits of Coventry kind of shopping bag and all that kind of shit. So those drivers means, I think, that we're now actually working out what makes us happy and how we spend our money. So there's a guy called Professor Michael Norton. He wrote a book called Buying Happiness. It's a really good book. And he talks about the way to buy happiness is spend it on experiences, spend your money on things that connect you to other people, spend it on deep-seated interests you have, or spend it on other people and give, and that will give you more happiness than if you buy it for yourself. So that's kind of out in the ether. That's in the academic research, but I think people are starting to work this out for themselves. The other thing is, because we don't want to look like a dick, inconspicuous consumption seems to be on the rise, conspicuous consumption seems to be on the decline a little bit. If you think about inconspicuous consumption, we're starting to spend more money on the education. You know, we're really prioritising education for ourselves and education to our children. Starting to spend more money on holidays and things that give us kind of a sense of collective positive experiences together. Starting to spend more money on our health. This is a Whoop band. I that I bought about a month ago. It's $40 a month to subscribe, but you get the first month free. And what doesn't matter. Anyway, so therefore, it seems to be overall, there's a large segment of the market are spending larger amounts of wealth on experiences to make the most out of life. And one of my clients is Royal Caribbean, and we see the demand for cruising is kind of really high at the moment, and I assume, that's only because that's the one category I work in, but I assume it's kind of similar for lots of the travel categories that you guys represent. So that's all the consumer stuff. So the consumer stuff's driven by inconspicuous consumption and not wanting to look like a dick. There's lots of pockets of a society where they're spending more and more money through the K-shaped economy, but I think it's also being triggered by marketing. So there's three ways that businesses grow. You either recruit new buyers into your category, you increase the volume per buyer, so you get each buyer to buy more stuff, or you increase the value per buyer, which is premiumisation. And this is stolen from, or not stolen, this is Ehrenberg Bass Institute stuff. And then they talk about the more mature category is, the more important that third one comes into play. So once you're established, once everyone's aware of you, once you've attracted all the light users of the category into your brand, then you start to premiumise, and that's kind of how brands continue to grow and continue to stay profitable. In order to premiumise, you have to look at your value equation of what do I get versus what do I give and the context that's happening in, and we start to focus much more on what do we get, what do we give people, what do the consumers get, as opposed to what's kind of a price point. So how do we build more and more kind of stories around getting people to pay more money? So if I go back to that kind of example on the Ritz, where $400 was each cocktail, you just see the little the blurbs underneath each one spoke about the age of the kind of the whiskies and so forth. And so that tends to be happening. Experienced brands are booming, K-shaped economy, inconspicuous consumption, marketers fueling and manufacturing this trend towards premiumisation in every category. Does everyone agree with that? I've gone a little bit fast and a bit rambly, but you kind of got the thing. So what to do about it is maybe the more interesting thing. And there's four things I want to talk about. The first one's segmentation. So what's your strategic intent? The second one's brand design. Third one's pricing. And the last one's how to involve people. This is probably the sexiest bit of marketing I still know and the most underutilised bit. So once we have a business vision, is do you have a segmentation of a market? Not of your buyers, not of your optimised buyers, but do you have a segmentation of the whole market? And it's become increasingly important because we now have a smaller cohort who are spending more and more money if you think about the K-shaped economy. So getting generalised insights against your consumer group may not tell you where the answers are, but understanding the entire addressable and adjacent markets is really important. James Mooring is here. So James and I went to the same 20 or 25 years ago, we worked at a company called Added Value, who are really good at segmentation. And they segmented by who, why, where, when, and what. And it's still something that we use today at Thinkerbell. Understand all the different consumer groups in your marketplace, all the different need states, all the different occasions, the where and the when, and the different whats, what it is that they're selling. And start to spin that stuff around, look for areas of opportunity, and there you'll find where those wealthier people are with loads and loads of money who want to have experiences to connect themselves to themselves and their family. And the reason why I just want to mention segmentation is very, very few of my clients come to me and say, here's our segmentation of the marketplace. They might talk about here's how we've segmented our customers, but they don't talk about a segmentation of the entire ecosystem that they're trying to tackle. That's number one. Second thing you can do is about brand design and create a sense of beauty. If you're going to premiumise your brand, if you're going to charge more money for your for whatever it is that you're doing, there's a kind of an unwritten rule that you will understand marketing and you'll present me with something beautiful and fluent and easy to get hold of, and that brand experience will permeate right through through the ecosystem. I was talking with one of you earlier today, and we're talking about the QT Hotels as a brand that really gets what their brand is from the inside out, right through to all their collateral, all of their kind of promotional activity, right through to how the brand represents itself, right to the reception staff who call themselves the mistress of chaos, I think, or the people, something like that. Anyway, beautifully managed brand. And even as they've scaled, they've managed to hold on to that brand beautifully. So BX before EX before CX. Get your fundamental brand experience right. Make sure all of your employees deliver on it, and then your customers. For those of you who have met Ant Morrill, who's the founder of Bounce, or if you've got kids who go to Bounce, it's an example of a brand that understands its brand experience beautifully from the inside out. At Thinkerbell, we get it really well as well. So we have measured magic as our brand proposition, and then everything we do reflects that brand from the inside out. So our logo is Rodin's the Thinker with Tinkerbell's wings. Our colour combination, that's meant to be pink and green, but it's complementary contradictions. Our staff are called Thinkers and Tinkers. We start each week with Measured Monday. We end each week with Magic Hour. We have things like Mind Expansion, where you can have an extra week's holiday a year. Our recruitment strategy, every year on your anniversary, you can throw a dart at the dartboard. On the dartboard are things like you can win a business class trip to London. You can win a Cartier watch, which is a piss take on, obviously, that whole fucking thing. Or you can win $15,000, but you have to spend it within 15 minutes. But also on the dartboard, is you can win a fish tank, which is what I won. You can win a jelly bean, or you can win a burger at Grilled without fries or a drink. And then you can also win an oil painting of yourself as well, which my business partner Jim won. So I'm just talking about that because it's a good, I can talk about my brand, the brand we've created. Really get it. Every single touch point kind of comes together and it's beautifully packaged up. And then our clients get it. And even like, these are our forms for our billing information from our CFO to our client CFO. It's got things like accounts payable address, reports to, supplier PO number, do you believe in love? Do you enjoy filling out forms? What's your favourite Disney character? I just fucking love the fact that our brand goes so deep into our customers' experience that it comes to life really nicely. It's a bit heavy to talk about decriminalised suicide worldwide, so I'm not going to do that. This is Art Series Hotels, another brand that I've worked with for years and years before they sold to Mantra and then subsequently got sold onto Accor and so on. But that art-inspired experiences was their brand proposition. And so the very first thing we did with them was called Still Banksy many years ago, where we put up a piece of artwork from Banksy, and we invited all the people who stayed there to steal the artwork. If they could steal it, they got to keep it. This lady did steal it, then we ended up hanging another one and so on. Then we had a thing called the overstay checkout. You could keep on staying there for free as long as someone else didn't need your room. We then did a thing called reverse reviews. Instead of the guests reviewing the hotel reviewed every guest. And the guests who got 1 stars were publicly shamed. The guests who got 5-star reviews got an extra night's free accommodation. And then we had a thing of art and micro. We had a micro art exhibition and so forth. But anyway, we were able to do all, and then we had another thing called Which Warhol, where we forged a whole lot of Warhols, but then the Warhol Foundation said, you have to stop that promotion immediately. And so we had to burn all the forged Warhols. But anyway, that one didn't work out nearly as well. But these ones did work out well. And so, again, I just put them there as a beautiful way of creating something elegant and beautiful at every single touch point. There's another example there I won't show either. Pricing. So get a good segmentation. Make sure you've got brand design running right through your business. With pricing, more is more. There's a beautiful thing called the price placebo. Basically, the more you pay for anything, the better it is. And the original study on that was done with art, wine, and I don't make these charts. I just tell somebody what I'd like on these charts. This original study was done with artists, art, wine, and sex workers. But I've just realised they've confused sex workers with street cleaners, I think. So that's why that image, and I saw the image this morning, I thought, why is that image there? But that's the reason why. So basically, if you pay more for art, you enjoy the art more. If you pay more for wine, you enjoy the wine more. If you pay more for sex, you enjoy the sex more. And then if you do that same experiment and put people under MRI scans, the part of their brain that communicates enjoyment lights up more the more you pay for stuff, especially, well, this particular study was done with wine. So it's not just changing your perception, it's actually changing how much enjoyment you get. So if you pay more for a holiday, you will enjoy that holiday more. If you pay more for a Monster energy drink, you'll have faster twitch fibres, you'll operate quicker. If you pay more for Blackmores, we obviously know about placebos and kind of medication. Coffee, etc., it'll stimulate you more. So just charge more and people will like you more. And fuck, it's funny. I know this is also done on cafes as well. So that's quite a recent study done, just exactly the same cafe, but that's charged more at every single thing, and people enjoyed the expensive cafe more than they did the cheaper one. If I was you, and I had some kind of, I would just be watching how far I could ratchet that thought up, and just be constantly playing with it and just seeing how ridiculous you can make your margins. Not that we do that at Thinkerbell. The final thing I'd be doing is something called the effort paradox, just to explain this little chart a little bit. We have to have our thoughts, our feelings, and our actions aligned, or else we experience cognitive dissonance. Once our thoughts, feelings, and actions are aligned, then that leads to behaviour change. Often we get told in marketing that you change people's behaviour through thoughts, rational messaging, or feelings, creating an emotional connection. The easiest way to change somebody's behaviour is to get them to take a step forward or to act towards the thing that you want them to do, or contribute to it in some way. And then they'll justify their thoughts and feelings for having done that. So it's kind of a neat little psychological trick, and I'll just bring it to life with a couple of examples. Why does this woman love her child so much? Any guesses? Sorry? Yeah, lived inside of her for a bit. And when the child lived inside the lady, it was uncomfortable, I think, for some of that time. And it was also quite painful at other times, and fucked with her hormones at other times, and it was a pain in the fucking stomach to carry, or pain in the womb to carry that child for 9 months. So no matter what popped out of that 9-month journey, I think the woman would love the child because it took so much effort for her to carry said child. It's kind of a little bit like why we like IKEA so much. So when we go to IKEA, we travel in our car for an hour, we get to IKEA. Once we travelled there for an hour, we then walk around the maze with our little kind of ropey thing, and not our ropey thing, tape measure and pencil. We buy the thing, we put it into the car, we get back home, we assemble it, and so on. That's called the IKEA effect, which is basically if you create IKEA furniture and you build it, you value it at about 30% more than if you're just given it, and that's Michael Norton again. And it's the same kind of principle as the effort paradox, as the lady with the small child. You put effort into something, you value it more. There's a really cool professor called Professor von Hippel. That is actually his name. And he's at MIT, and he looks at end-user innovation, and he looks at people who take your brand, take your product, customise it, play around with it, and then he reckons it's the job of every marketer to understand how people are customising the product themselves and working out how they're fucking with things, and then feed that back into the organisation and kind of use that to help co-create. So this whole co-creation approach, if you can get people invested into your brand, get them to help you build your brand, they're going to love your brand more, they're going to feel more indebted to it, and again, then you can, because of a price placebo, you can start to charge more, and then you're well on your way to charging $400 for a Manhattan in a cocktail bar. Carmen's Muesli is my favourite example of this, not in your category, but no advertising, massive value to the brand. She's done that all through the Carmen's family. So massive online researching tool where she's constantly sending out samples to people. You can, if you sign up to it, you can get all the samples delivered, you give your opinion, you give your feedback, and then she customises the products to make sense from whatever the community has said. So that's thousands of people helping her build her brand by giving her information. That's thousands of people who have now got a vested interest in the success of Carmen's Muesli. And again, your whole industry, it's not fucking muesli, it's travel, there's passion there. You should be asking your customers all the time what their opinion is, what holidays they like, give us suggestions and so forth. I know from my when Qantas Frequent Flyer sends me a promotional thing, I never read it. When they ask for my opinion to win a bottle, and I could win a bottle of Grange, I'm constantly giving my opinion because I feel like, I don't know, for whatever reason, like it's a category that people want to share and give information on and help you build your brands. So please take advantage of it. Lego is a good example of it. They have Lego ideas. Anyone to Roblox or knows about the amazing business model of Roblox, it's incredible, where they have a massive creator community. So anybody, any 10-year-old kid can build their own Roblox world and then invite other people into their Roblox world. And then you can also then start to monetize that if you get good at doing that as well. This is a brand I helped launch years ago with Simon Griffith from Who Gives a Crap. I am going to play this video really quickly because it's a good little video to show the power of how to build a community, and this is how he launches this company.
Toilet paper, the world's least glamorous product, is a hard sell, even if your brand donates 50% of profits to charity. So how do you launch a new toilet paper when you need $50,000 to fund the first production run, and with no marketing budget to create awareness? You put the CEO on the toilet.
Hi, I'm Simon Griffiths, co-founder of Who Gives a Crap.
Explain your product.
We reckon every trip to the bathroom should be a feel-good experience.
Ask for help.
We need $50,000.